All right, we live.
All right, man.
All right, play it.
All right. All right. Welcome to another episode of Just Cooling Podcast. I am Country Red and you are.
DJ Quinn.
And sis,
And
tell
I'm
me
Miss
who it is.
Dawson.
Miss-
All right. We have a
That's
special guest. And what's going on now, DJ? As you said.
I'm laughing at Miss
What's going
Dawson. She over there.
on? Okay. All right. We're going to get this right. So we have a
Let's
special
go.
guest tonight in the building. Please tell everybody who you are and give everybody your resume, brother.
What's going on, world? This is your friendly neighborhood soul searcher, Byrd the Overcomer. I've been a poet since as far back as I can remember. Right now, I'm a member of Poetic City, member of the Sons of the Mic, member of the Muskogee Soul Searchers, and a member of the Inner City Poets. So I've been doing spoken word poetry for a little over 5 years now, but I've been writing it for all my life.
Wow, that's dope. That's dope, man.
When
So,
was your
what
first
was like?
performance? Oh, I'm sorry, bro.
My
No, go ahead.
my
Go
first
ahead.
performance. My first
Yeah.
performance came. I got in trouble. I started writing poetry out of punishment. I got caught rolling shooting dice at elementary school back in fifth grade, back in my school. And the teacher was, I guess she was trying to be funny. She made all of us write a poem about Martin Luther King.
Mm.
And so they ended up liking the poem so much that my first performance was that Black History program way back in fifth grade.
Oh.
So yeah.
Took it back to elementary school.
Yeah, it was a while back.
Yeah, so how
Who
did you
was
come up with the name Byrd the Overcomer?
Actually, I got that from church. One year, there was a. I usually go to that New Year's Eve service and stuff like that, and the year that I was almost had given up on my spoken word, and the
Mm.
pastor said that it's the year of the overcomer, and Bird has always been my nickname. That's always been my nickname. But so I just added the moniker of the overcomer, and it just fit.
who are some of the poets like that you like listen to, like famous
A
wise?
lot of poets, famous wise. Oh my goodness, I love Langston Hughes and Maya Angelou's work. Them are
Yeah.
two of the poets that I really really like and gravitate to. I really like their work.
I did an essay. I did my senior paper over Langston Hughes, but I don't remember the poem. It was a short poem, but we had to write 5 pages.
Ooh, not a short poem, huh?
Wow.
Short poem with many books. Golly. Angels is hurting right now from hearing that.
What is
So
your
what
favorite
is your
poem?
oh please go ahead.
I'm sorry.
All right,
My
so
You
favorite
they
poem.
be twins. We not twins.
mhm.
What's your favorite poem by
My
Langston Hughes?
was Hold Fast to Dreams. That was my favorite one. It was short, but it was to the point. That Hold Fast Your Dreams, for if dreams die. Yeah, that's the one that always resonated with me. That it didn't have to be something very complicated. It could be something real short and simple, but it could have profound meaning.
That's probably the one I
So
did
that
my
that was
page, my paper on. That's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably so. That was one he was famous for.
Yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about the Soul Searcher.
The
Mm.
Soul Searcher.
Mm.
The Muskogee Soul Searcher was a group of poets that we got together initially just because of our love for spoken word, just for our love for writing. And one thing led to another, and we became a spoken word group. And we start having shows. We start touring around our area, having shows, and just trying to motivate the community and get the community involved as much as possible in writing, and in the arts in general. Because in Muskogee, in little in smaller towns like this, the arts are usually looked over, and
Got you.
there's more emphasis put on sports and athletics and things like that. So the people that have that art in them, they kind of get overlooked and they get discouraged and they quit. I mean, I know
Yeah.
I did.
Right.
So it was my mission to try to motivate and try to inspire as many people as I can in the arts or in the skills that that they're in, whether it was drawing, whether it was artistry, whether it was spoken word, whether it was hip hop, whether it was just music, whether whatever they were good at.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let me ask you this then. So, like, what is your creative process when you're writing? What draws
Everything
you
is
in?
motivation. Like everything is, I start with one line. Like I'll sit there and I'll just start with one line or I'll read one line and it'll start from there. And then
Mm.
I write the whole piece out and then I name it when I get done. I've
Mm.
never, I find it very, very difficult for me to like write a title and then write something down. It's just hard for me. So my creative process is I'll get the whole body done first and then I'll name it when I get done with it.
Oh,
Mm.
that's different. Huh. Okay.
Name five.
What?
Is there
Oh, go ahead. Wait. My bad.
you know, heads or tails? Heads or tails?
Go
How
ahead.
was it, man?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nah, you're a little off this tonight. That's okay though. We're gonna get through it. So, I know that you got the championship belt that you carry on your shoulder. So, can you
Mm.
talk to us about the poet wars and what that's like? Explain to the people.
Yes, sir. Poet Wars, it was a vision that I started back in 2001. I was sitting in the movie theater watching Fast and the Furious, and one of the unspoken characters of that movie was race wars. Right? I mean, everybody, that's what they kept talking about the whole movie. We're going to go to race wars this, race wars that. And I start thinking to myself, what if I could put on an event, that's kind of similar to that similar energy type? Because I was always a weird kid growing up. I can't even lie to you. I wasn't really big into sports. My dad was a coach, and I mean, he's a super coach pretty much. So I just didn't have that desire of athletics that he did. So I was into all the weird stuff or what I thought was weird stuff, the pro wrestling and the bull riding and bodybuilding and stuff like that. I was really into that kind of stuff. So I wanted to find something where I can combine all of my passions into one show. And that's where Poet Wars came from, the battle for the belt. For poetry, I seen a lot of slams and a lot of poetry contests, and the prizes they were okay. I mean, they were a plaque or maybe a little trophy with a little book on top of it or something like that. I
Yeah.
wanted to give
Yeah.
the poets something extraordinary, something to really battle for, something to give them some bragging rights, something they could carry around with them, or they could put up on their wall, or they could put up say, "Look, this is what I did." So wrestling was a big deal for me, so that's where the belt came from. I wanted to make a customized poetry championship belt for whoever won the show,
Dope.
and that's where.
Dope.
So I combined that. I combined bodybuilding. The top three got the best prizes. So every bit everything that I was passionate about, I put into that show, and that's where Poet Wars came from.
So is it one belt? Is it one belt or is it
Yeah.
three different belts? So there's
Right
whoever
now,
who got the belt. Who's the champ?
man, right now the current Poet Wars heavyweight champion is a badass poet by the name of Black Soul out of
Mm.
out
Mm.
of Wichita, Kansas. He
Okay.
he was born in Selma, Alabama, but he lives in Wichita, Kansas right now. And I mean, when I say he's an amazing poet, he is an amazing poet. Everybody that has won Poet Wars has just been extraordinary. If
Mm.
I could get all the champions back together for a contest, is gonna be a legendary night.
How many poets usually
Mm.
show up for that?
Right now, usually I call out for about 15 or 20. And when I call out the 15 or 20, they're usually the best of the best in their group, the best in this area, the best in the state or wherever. And So it usually ends up being about 12.
About 12.
And
Okay.
then those 12 end up battling out for the title.
So y'all got like
Mm.
different as far as so it's 12. So which y'all got like 3 rounds or like
Yeah,
4 rounds?
there's three
About three
rounds.
rounds.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's similar to a poetry slam, but it's not really a poetry slam. It's more geared up towards a more kind of like a battle rap type deal. That
Mm.
that's
Gotcha.
that's kind of how I got it
Yeah,
formatted.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I
so
noticed that.
yeah,
Yeah. So
Okay. You
so
got
yeah,
something,
them
bro, or
cats
can I
be
talk?
going at it.
go ahead,
Huh?
sis. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Okay.
sis.
I was trying to wait.
Nah, you over there rapid fire.
Um,
So I'm just go ahead. Shoot your shot. I'm chilling. Go
um,
ahead.
what inspired you to write I Am Not a Poet?
Mm.
What inspired me to write I'm Not a Poet? Well, I got personally challenged to a battle.
Mm.
And it was only it wasn't poet wars. It was just a battle between two poets, just me and another poet. And that show was called Battle Bars. And I knew that he was going to say something about being the best poet in the room. So I
Mm.
took that one line that he said, and I wrote I'm not a poet. And I
Mm.
wrote the whole thing, and then I named it at the end my same creative process that I always use, and that's where I'm not a poet came from. It's a battle piece.
Mm.
So you actually took what he was gonna say and used it against him.
Oh,
Sort of.
absolutely, because he was gonna do
Yeah.
the same thing to me. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I got you.
Now does he get it?
All
Now,
right.
does it get heated?
Yeah.
Sometimes when they battling like poet wise, cause sometimes when you see the battle rap, they be getting heated though. Is it the same?
Yes,
The same
man.
energy?
I tell when once that competitive juices get going, it does get heated. It does get heated. It got heated
Mm.
this year. I mean, the difference between first and second place was point 0.5 points.
Mm.
I mean, it
Mm.
wasn't even a point. It was like a point 0.5 points. So yeah, it was. They were coming after it. They was coming after it, and it was a $500 cash prize plus the belt. They were coming. They really wanted to win, and they showed that they wanted to win. So yeah, it gets competition's gonna get it's gonna get heated.
That's dope. So how's the feedback been with the Poet
Huh?
Wars? Like how's the feedback? So how has
It's,
the
it's been
feedback
very
been with the Poet Wars?
it's been very positive because we've had so many people from different areas come down and showcase their skills, and it's just showing different people from different areas how they perform, and how they their thought processes, and their performance processes, and all that kind of stuff. So it's been well accepted into this area so far. So I was thinking about moving it to a different location maybe next year or so, but the response was so good this year. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep it down here in Muskogee for another couple of years at least, to see how far that I can take it, because I plan on doing every year. I want to add something different. I want to add a different twist to it. So what I've been thinking this year or next year, I've been thinking about adding some tag team titles,
Mm.
like couples
Mm.
poetry or something like that. It
Oh,
just
that's
just
good.
just been brainstorming on it.
Okay.
So just,
That's dope.
just a little something for the poets. I just want to give back to the poets and the poetry that's been so good to me.
Is it more males or females,
It's
or is it
more
about a?
males right now, but I've this year a couple of bomb females entered and almost won.
Mm.
They came close to winning. She matter of fact, she had a heart, and she was going for the throat, and then she stopped. She
Wow.
just stopped. She had it memorized. She
Uh,
was going to finish it, but she just stopped because she didn't want to hurt their feelings. I said, "Oh no, go get them, girl."
Uh,
So yeah, I know some talented female poets that are hungry for that belt.
mm.
man, so she stopped. All right. Go ahead and transition to a different segment. What are your top 5 songs or poets that impacted your life?
Mm.
Oh man, number one is a poet by the name of Lansing Lee.
Lansing.
He's a local poet here.
Okay,
Yes,
Lansing
Lansing
Lee.
Lee. Yes, sir. He's pretty much my mentor and the guy that got me into spoken word. He is definitely one of the best poets that I've ever seen in person. Number two would have to be the notorious Big, Biggie Smalls, aka Christopher Wallace. I wouldn't write the way that I write if it wasn't for Biggie. When I first started writing, everything had to rhyme. And in order for everything to rhyme, a lot of my stuff sounded kind of goofy and stupid.
Right.
But after listening to his ones, I listened to Juicy, and it was like, okay, yeah, that's cool and everything. But then on side B was the song Unbelievable,
Mm.
and I was just
Yeah.
blown the hell away. I said, who is this big dude? And it changed the way that I looked at poetry. It changed the way I looked at writing. Period. That was one of my big influences. And number three is I would have to put Heavy D there. Heavy D was one of the first rappers that I could even listen to at the house because he was one of the only rappers at the time that didn't cuss. So I could listen to this stuff freely in the house without mom and them having me cut it off. I couldn't listen to NWA and Two Live Crew and all the other tapes I had. So I had to I could listen to Heavy D, and then number four was MC Hammer. That was the other one that I could listen to. And one thing that MC Hammer showed me was that even though he had all these dance tracks on every one of his albums, he always had one song that praised God. On
Mm.
every album, at least one.
Right.
And now and that was his MO. And it was he was successful with it. And as far as number five, man, I got to give number five to Rick Ross. Rick Ross has
Mm.
really inspired me to do some of my latest writings. I really
Mm.
really admire and respect the way that he comes at his pieces. He's pretty much a poet. To me he's not really a rapper. He's a poet. So
Let me ask you
that
this
that
question.
never.
Let me ask you this
Yes, sir.
question. Um, do you find it harder for as a poet to write an album? You know what I mean? Or is it
Mm.
easier to write an album like a poetry album? You know what I mean? Like you find it hard.
It has been difficult
Mm.
because I used to write a lot of songs for my brothers and write a lot of songs just because I like hip hop. So when you hear the beat, it's so natural to try to sit there and write something to the beat
Right.
instead of just kind of flowing with your poetry piece.
Right.
So it does create a challenge if you've already been accustomed to writing like actual music, actual songs, and things like that. But I mean, it can be done, but it just takes a whole lot of practice. You have to almost kind of shift gears
Mm.
because
Mm.
a poetry song or album is totally different from just a regular music album.
Right.
There's a lot more intricate parts to it. So yeah.
Mhm.
Mm. Yeah. I wanted to. Yeah. I thought it would be because it's so easy to, like you said, do a hip hop album than a poetry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I could write a song and I could write probably a song in 10, 15 minutes with a good beat. And I'm
Mm.
motivated to do it. But as far as an actual poetry and then try to find the music that coincides and goes with it, it would take me hours.
Mm.
It would take me hours to do it.
So you think it would be more of a slow tempo beat as far as how you might depend on what you write down on paper?
Like
Use
R&B.
a
Yeah,
slow tempo BPM?
yeah, it would
Yeah.
depend. It would depend on the poem, and
Okay.
like it'd be a more up tempo beat for like let's say like she said I'm not a poet. It would be a little more percussion type beat, and then if I tried to do
Okay.
Butterscotch Queen, I'd have to change the whole narrative and try to find something slow and sensual. So I mean, it just
Mhm.
depends on the poem. Depends on the writer. Depends on their style, their genre, or whatever. I mean, they could like jazz and throw a little jazz in there or something. Or horns, or it just depends on the poet and what they're trying to bring across.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna ask a question. Don't jump in.
Yes, I do have. What
Go ahead, sis.
what makes you stand out? Like, what makes you different from every other poet? What do you bring? What makes you unique and different?
What makes me unique and different is the fact that I've never really felt like a regular poet. I've never really felt like I've had that poetry type feel to a lot of my pieces, because a lot of my pieces, I mean, my newest book is named Ghetto Poetry
Mm.
Mm,
because I admire more hip hop and hip hop artists than I do spoken word artists. A lot of my
mm,
stuff comes from listening to music. I think that's what separates me from that. And plus, most of the time I got a chip on my shoulder. I mean, I just come at it. I come at it fierce. I come at it hard. Even my intro, when I jump on stage, I've had so many people say that I couldn't do it, that when I get up there, it's just like I'm
mm.
angry. It sounds like I'm yelling or something, but I just feel it.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me a little bit different.
Okay.
Give
To
give the
piggyback on that,
oh, go ahead, my fault.
yeah, my bad. I was gonna say to piggyback on that. I noticed in your intro before you like go into your actual poem, you say I
Yeah,
think you say half Christian, half heathen, or something like that. Can you
Yeah.
yeah,
elaborate
yeah,
more on that for me?
yeah.
Yeah.
When it came to the intro, once again, it goes back to my love for wrestling.
Hmm.
What were their name? The New Age Outlaws. They used to come out there and do their little thing, and I said, okay, I need to come up with an entrance, something that I could say, something that would be catchy, that would get people's attention before I get into my piece, and it would give me a warm up before I jumped in it too. But when I talk about half Christian, half heathen,
Hmm.
I'm well aware of my Christianity. I'm well aware of my religious beliefs, and I love God. I love God. He's the Lord and it's the strength of my life. There's some pieces that I have where it would seem like I didn't know God at all, but it's still part of me though. But
Yeah.
so
Right.
that's kind of a disclaimer to the people that I go to church with, or people that see me out and they call me deacon this or whatever that, and they see me out and I'm out there just going hard.
Wait, let me ask you,
That's kind of.
what
Mhm.
kind of what kind of heathen things are we talking about?
What kind of heathen things? Oh man. When it
That way,
says when it says
you
half.
don't want to talk about it. You don't have to. I just,
Oh man, yo, we no, I mean half heathen things like in some of my poetry. It's hard for me to write erotic pieces, or it's hard for me to do erotic pieces, but I got quite a few of them,
right.
and that's part of the little heathen in me. A part of my little heathen is unforgiveness. Man, it's hard for me
Mm,
to forgive folks.
that's
Mm.
So a
another
lot
one.
of my pieces are geared towards people that I'm mad at, or situations that I'm upset with, and it's hard for me to forgive. So I'm just letting it out on the paper.
Mm.
So
Okay.
so that's part of my little heathen stuff.
I got you. I- you want to do the wine in the wine on? What is it? What do we call it?
Why? It's wide on in
We
the in
wine
the.
on in with the winos. Not,
I'm not a wino.
I'm just,
Anyway,
I'm just,
so Bird. Every Wednesday I do wine. What's it called? Lord Jesus. Hold on, bear with me. I
drinking
do wine
already.
Wednesdays and evenings. And I also display my beautiful jewelry, and I also give a word for the day. So that's every Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern time on my Facebook page, Jewel Dawson. And the earrings that well, here's one pair that I had this Wednesday. I call this pair boho. Can y'all
Slow down a little
see?
bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I see him now.
This
Okay.
is from my trigger collection. I call that boho, and then I call this pair elegance. Elegant.
Okay.
So a lot of my earrings, I focus on colors and symbols. It's basically my personality on my earrings. I'm kind of out the box, free. That's how I am. But I
Yeah.
do that every Wednesday, like I said, at 8:30 Eastern time on my Facebook page, Joel Dawson. I also have some earrings available on my Instagram, Dawson Jewels _, and I have an Etsy page. It's Dawson Jewels. Um,
Okay.
so the question I want to ask you, which I ask everybody, because just like you, and just like my brother and DJ Quinn, we all have a passion or a purpose. What is your why to keep you to keep pushing, to keep going? What motivates you?
Um, Man, I try to use everything that happens as motivation. Everything can be used as ammunition. There's no such thing as a bad experience. There's no such thing as a loss. There's always just a lesson in everything. Whether you're going forward or you take a couple of steps back, there's always something in there's always something in it that you need to learn.
Yeah.
I've took so many losses. So my first book I kept on the shelf for 20 years. It was on the
Mm,
shelf for 20 years. I didn't get it published for 20 years. That World Through the Eyes of a Blacklight Poet, man, I wrote that when I was 20 years old. I'm 43 now.
Mm.
I
mm,
just now got that published like last year. So, I mean, a blessing delayed is not a blessing denied, and
mm.
Mm-hmm.
you just have to just hold on to your core belief and don't let anyone talk you out of it, even yourself, because
Yes, I
I
agree.
let so many people talk me out of this poetry thing. Oh, you'll never make no money out of poetry. You'll never do this out of you'll never. It's just a hobby. It's just this. It's just that. But here I'm on the podcast with y'all lovely kings and queens.
Right,
You
right.
know, so who knows where this thing is going to take me? Who knows where that's
Yeah,
going to take you? Somebody may be
Right.
seeing that podcast and they want to make a deal with you, make $1 million deal with you to produce them earrings. You never know. So
yeah,
Big
all you got to
facts.
do is just keep on moving forward. Keep moving forward. Matter of fact, I took that from that Luke Cage show on Netflix. Always forward, always. I took it. I stole
yeah,
it. I ain't gonna lie. Always forward, always. And that has worked for me thus far.
yeah. All right.
That was
Yeah,
good
that's what's
question,
up right
sis. See?
there. Wait, you said it. Do we do we have to drink wine or can I bring champagne up to the? Cause I don't.
No, wine. My favorite is Merlot.
Oh,
5 out of 5, Jules.
Thunderbird. Yes, Thunderbird.
you said some Thunderbirds you drinking?
No.
Nah, no. That stuff's still in print. That's still on the shelf. And stop.
Or that
Oh
it
no,
might be Mad Dog.
No,
no,
no.
they still sell that stuff. They still sell that stuff. Come on, right at the front
You
register
know
too.
the
Don't
flavor,
still
the
in print.
flavored Mad Dogs. They
Yeah,
Yeah,
got
we
them all.
all
It
back
look
in
like
college
Skittles.
days. Yeah. Mm-mm. Broke days.
uh,
So talk to us about your poetry drop Tuesdays. Are you still doing that, or is it on pause, or what's up with that situation?
Yeah, it's still going on. Poetry Drop Tuesday started out. What it started out initially was simply just practicing your pieces so that when the shows or the performances came up, that we wouldn't be so nervous,
Okay.
doing going through them. Well, what it turned into was something I never even expected. Was so many people drop their poems on Tuesday and stuff now that it really became a phenomenal movement. And if whether I'm recording a piece or I just writing a piece, I always drop something on Tuesday. If you look on my line, there's always something on Poetry Drop Tuesday. Whether it's early in the morning or late at night, because I've been working 12-hour days at work. but there's always going to be something on 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 my line on Tuesday. It's the longest running poetry series on Facebook in Facebook history. So I got to keep going. I got to keep it going, no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah, keep it
I,
going.
for the up and comers who wants to come up and do the poetry, give us like 5 helpful tips you would give for writing poetry pieces.
5 helpful tips is
And
be confident. That's number one. Be confident. Be confident in what you write. Don't ever be ashamed of what you write. If all you write is sexy poems, then you just gonna be a sexy poet. If
mm,
all you write is some dark stuff, then that's the genre that you're gonna reach. There's always somebody that needs to hear what you have to say. We have no idea who we are touching with what we write and what we say.
mm,
Number two is network. Network, network, network. Find as many people that's like-minded as you as possible. They're out there. I didn't know that they were out there. I didn't start knowing that until I actually started doing it. And I started reaching out, and that's when I found Poetic City in Oklahoma City. That's when I found True Poetry in Wichita. I found Motivation Division in Oklahoma City. I mean, I've connected with so many like-minded people that do what I do, and just like the thing of writing. Um, Three, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. If you don't invest in yourself, no one else will. And it is not being conceited. It's not being selfish. Getting your LLC, getting your name branded, getting your trademark branded, and all that stuff. That is totally part of the game. It's totally part of the game. So when it's time for you to travel, when it's time for you to go here, there, and everywhere else, and they're inviting you here and there, you'll be able to get paid for it. You'll be able to. Everything won't just come out of your pocket. Number four,
mm,
practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice your pieces. Practice your pieces. Reading your poems is not bad. It's not a bad thing. To me, it's never been a bad if you know how to perform it as you're reading. But
Mm.
when you become a spoken word artist, you're more than just a poet. You're more than just the guy that write the poems down. You're more than just the guy that comes out there with a book and reads it from the book. You become a performer. You want to be able to perform your pieces. They're your pieces. You made them. You created them. So
mm.
practice. Find time every day to practice your pieces because this is part of is all part of the game. And number five, oh man, number five, you have to be patient.
Mm.
Patience is a virtue. It does not happen overnight. You have to be patient. You have to develop a thick skin. There's going to be critics. There's going to be people that just don't get you because you're going to be different. I ran into that so much when I was younger. I write now like I did when I was younger, and no one understood at my age. It took somebody older to realize, well, this guy really got talent. But just patience, and keep chipping away at it. Nothing happens overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, and you get it quick, you lose it quick. But if you sit there and you build it up over the years, it won't betray you. So them is my top five.
Mm.
Good top fives.
Dope.
I need those top fives. Thank you.
Anytime, Queen. Anytime.
Thank you.
Real quick, for those who might not know the difference, what's the difference between an LLC and a trademark? 'Cause I know a lot of times that can be confusing if you like first jumping into it, doing that. Could you kind of break
Yeah,
that down?
yeah. Well, with an LLC, it is you can have different different companies and subsidiaries under one umbrella. Like I got Blacklight Poetry. I have Blacklight Poetry, Blacklight Entertainment, and I have my daughter's Faithy Cakes under all one LLC. That way, whenever the it comes up, I'll already have it all. It's already all done. Now a trademark, you can only trademark one thing at a time. Now I got my name trademarked. That way nobody else can use it.
Okay.
And I believe that a trademark it lasts a little bit longer than LLC. LLCs have to be renewed, I believe, once a year, but trademarks once it's trademarked, it's yours. So yeah, yeah, and everybody's different. Some people can get just do a trademark and be cool. Some people can just do an LLC and be cool. It just depends on what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go with your business.
Okay.
All right,
That's
we're
good.
gonna jump into this who you got segment. So I picked two females, and this is
Uh-oh.
basically it's just who you got between these two females.
Okay.
All right, so Jill Scott or the florist.
Ooh.
Jill Scott.
Oh, dang.
No pressure. Hard one.
Oh,
From Floetry, right? You know Floetry, the florist, the
yeah,
Yeah.
dark skin, yeah.
yeah. Oh,
I thought you was gonna say everybody
man,
else.
that's a tough one. But and I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm gonna be honest. Jill Scott's my girl, man. Jill Scott that girl is amazing. She is an amazing, amazing performer. She's an amazing poet. She's an amazing singer, amazing actor. She's just an amazing person, amazing queen.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I will have to, even though it's a close comparison, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to go with Jill Scott.
Mm. I they both got some some high
Yeah,
poetry.
that's a close one. I mean, we can say it's a draw, and nobody would be upset about it.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know what you said.
Yeah,
Out
absolutely.
of nowhere. Okay, I'm gonna see you go.
Hey, I mean, I, I was thought about that. I was like, you know what? Let me, yeah.
Cool.
I'm
So, what would you like to see changed in the spoken word community? Like, how can it get better? How can it evolve? What is it missing?
Um, I think more financial support would be first and foremost would be great. A lot of these guys really pour their heart out into their performance, and they really don't get the financial accolades that they deserve. I've seen people put on a 45-minute, I mean, straight, just going at that mic, and just because they love it, just because it's their passion. So if they could get some more financial backing and
mm,
some more venues and better revenue coming in, man, that would be great for starters. Great for starters.
Yeah, absolutely.
so what's coming up for you next, man? I mean, what would you like to do? Would you like to you know put on a like a worldwide big poetry thing? You know what I'm saying? Or what's your end goal on
Yeah.
the poetry?
As far as the end
I
goes,
mean, what would
is
you like to
is
see? Something that
it
you like,
may
just
it may sound crazy, but yeah, I would love to see Poet Wars on a national, international type stage,
something
and
like
have
a
it on Netflix, Hulu, or something like that. I mean, just becomes a really, really big deal,
yeah.
and have the prize money so
Don't say too
ridiculous
much, man.
that I mean, the top poets from everywhere will. I mean, they'd have no choice but to come after it.
Yeah. And
Wow.
Because
you
that,
remember how
that's
they
my
did
that's my whole thing is giving back to the poets.
something like how they did? What was that? Remember they used to have the poetry for a minute
Oh
on
yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, that I see what you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
absolutely,
They definitely need to bring that back. Yeah, we could. That'd be nice, man. You
absolutely.
could do that. Poetry
Yeah, so
wars.
that's what I'm slowly trying to work on is try to get it get it to the national, international type stage.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some international poets that is probably cold too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in order to do it, I gotta bring the money's gonna. That's what's gonna attract them. So that's what I'm working on.
Absolutely.
You'll get there.
Already. So how important is it to continue to teach our youth?
How what?
I said, how important is it to continue to keep teaching our youth in our communities?
Oh, oh man, it's infinitely important. Cause see, my mom was a teacher. My dad was. I came from a whole family full of teachers, so I had no
Mm.
choice but to learn. So learning and stuff is a fundamental process of life. I mean, nobody can get over on you if you can read the contract. Nobody can get over on you or not pay you what they're supposed to pay you if you can count your own money,
Mm.
or if you have the morals and you have the principles and stuff backing you, and all that
Mm.
stuff comes from school. And I mean, it starts with the teachers. The teachers, they don't make teachers like they used to. They really don't. And I hate to say that. And there's good reason. There's good reason they don't. The teachers don't have funds just like poetry does.
They ain't got
You
no
know, you got to
paddles neither.
pay. Yeah, and they took the discipline. They tied their hands. They cut their pay. I mean, it kind of crippled them. So and
Disclaimer.
that's the backbone. Hmm.
Disclaimer. My brother was teacher of the month last month. He's a great teacher. Country Red.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Cause see, my mom.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
God, she
Ah,
she had a plexiglass paddle. She had two paddles. She had a wooden paddle and a
yeah.
plexiglass paddle.
That's
She
what Red
broke
be
the
doing.
wooden paddle. Yeah, she broke the wooden paddle on a student. Broke it. And when she came in, she threw it on the desk. Said, "Okay, I'm done with that one." And she pulled out the plexiglass. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's people to this day they thank her for the stuff that she taught and the things that she done. I have nothing but the utmost respect for teachers and educators because
Yeah.
to me they have the hardest job. They have the hardest
Yeah.
job and they do not get the recognition they deserve whatsoever.
Do you think we should go back to
They
using paddles?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. The punishment should be dealt out by the teachers and administration. They should not have policemen at the school. The policemen
Mm.
and stuff should not be disciplining these kids. It should be the
Mm.
teachers and administration.
Red,
Yeah.
you hear that?
Putting kids in handcuffs and all that other kind. It's teaching them. It's just
Yeah.
teaching them bad to me. That that's
Yeah.
not that's not that's not helping them.
No.
That's just teaching them to disregard the rules and the laws and things like that, and just giving them a prelude that oh well they put cuffs on me in school. I mean I've been through it now. It ain't nothing. So
Mm.
no, that's the wrong kind of teaching that we're teaching them.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So yeah, they need to put the power back into the teachers' hands.
Whoa, Red, we waiting on you to get that power, brother.
One step at a time. Can't talk on camera, man.
It's all on you,
Brothers
Red.
watching. Big brothers watching.
Yeah, yeah. No comment. No comment. It's good. No comment. Yeah.
Next question, please. All right.
The comments made by Byrd the Overcomer is by Byrd the Overcomer himself. That's a disclaimer. Yeah, no doubt. No, you good, man.
Hey, so
No, no worries,
what
man.
you got coming up, man? What's next for you? We got
Um,
another book coming up. What you got?
yes, I do. I got two books coming out.
Okay,
I got the Soul Searcher, the Black Light Cut is coming out. Like
okay,
like I
Mm.
said, I was a weird kid. I love wrestling, comic book stuff like that. But when I saw Justice League, the Snyder cut, I thought to myself, there was a lot of poems that I did not put in the Soul Searcher that I could have put in there, but I was afraid of what people would think of them. because either they were too sexual or they was just too forceful, there was too something or not enough something. So what I did was I went ahead and put them poems back into there, and I'm going to re-release the book, kind of like a remix type book. So that's the next book coming up, and the book after that is the next book in my Black Light Poetry series. It's called Pimp, Pimp. Poetry is my passion. So I use that.
Okay.
That's gonna be the next two projects that come out.
I need to put
Okay.
that on a shirt.
Yeah.
That
And
was
where can we
good.
find all this information at? Your information and all of that.
Right now on Facebook you can find me at Doyle Rowland, DoyleRowland. I'm on Instagram under Byrd the Overcomer. I got a YouTube page also, Byrd the Overcomer,
Mm.
and that's what I'm working with right now. And all my books can be found on Amazon, every
Yeah.
one of them.
How many books you got out?
Right now I got three. Right now I got three. The World Through the Eyes of a Black Light Poet
Okay.
is the first book. The Soul Searcher is the second book, and Black Light Poetry Book One, Ghetto Poetry. That's the third.
Okay.
And a few of them also. There's a couple of them also that's available at over on Black Wall Street at the Black Wall Street Corner Store and More
Okay.
with Miss Angela. She let me put a couple of my books in there for sale too, which I'm real grateful for.
Okay. We got a live chat question. Go ahead, Red. What's
Okay.
the you see the live chat, Red?
Uh, Brother Chico wants to know, give us your top five DC characters. Top five DC
Ah,
characters.
top five DC
Mm-hmm.
characters, huh?
Uh-oh.
Yep,
We
Okay,
he
got
got
okay,
away.
this gonna be
okay, okay. Now we talking. Okay. Number one, Superman. Always got to be Superman. Got to be Superman.
Mm.
Number two is Steel, and what he is, he's the black Superman. Because in 1991, Superman died. He got killed. That's when I started actually liking Superman, when he died in '91. So when he died, four Supermen took his place, and one of them was a black guy named
Mm.
John Henry Irons.
Okay.
And
mm,
that they ended up naming him the Man of Steel, and later on
mm,
he just went by Steel. So it's Superman, Steel, Batman,
Mm.
which is my brother's favorite, the Green Arrow,
Hmm.
and Darkseid. Darkseid, he's like the big bad dude in DC. So that's my top five DC characters.
So didn't they make a movie of they did Man of Steel a movie, but it was the regular Superman.
Yeah, that's one of Superman's nicknames.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, when he died, he kind of took up that moniker. He wasn't trying
Oh,
to be
okay.
Superman. They were just calling him the Man of Steel because he was actually in a steel suit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He
He
said
says
Shaq was still.
Shaq was still.
Yeah, man. Oh, that was horrible, man. That was a horror. But I loved Shaq. I loved Shaq, so I couldn't be bad. I couldn't be bad. I was upset because I knew Shaq loved Superman too, so I couldn't be that bad. But
Absolutely
man,
not that movie.
it was
It's a
hard to watch.
hellfire in that
It was
movie.
hard to watch.
The Walmart being somewhere in that movie.
Uh,
Probably a
Woo.
dollar queen.
Oh God. I told you, God. I think even the costumes and the stuff was terrible too. Like it looked real cheesy to
Yeah,
me.
it was bad. It went all bad. It went all bad. But I mean, they did what they did.
Yeah.
uh,
Mm. Does anybody have any more questions before we end the show?
No, I'm good.
what, what's your quote, man?
And my quote is
Again,
always the way I end every Poetry Drop Tuesday: stay motivated.
Stay
Stay
motivated.
motivated. No matter what. Stay. Just two words: stay motivated.
yes, sir. With that being said, I didn't write this, but I think this kind of ties into the vibe tonight. On this show, we like to end the show with a closing quote. I'm not sure who this is by, it's unknown, but hope you guys like it. You can't start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. I'll
Well,
say that one more time.
brother be coming with them.
You
Say it
can't
again.
start. I'm trying to now. I'm in the kitchen. What? All right, so you can't start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. Just let that marinate. I just wanted to leave with that. Feel free to comment. If not, I don't know.
So instead of wait, I got one more. So instead of a hot 16, as they would say in rap, what would you say in poetry? What is like when you saying instead of a hot 16? What would you say in poetry?
Um,
Mm.
what is your? I
Or
guess
is
you
it
would understand
or is it
what
the
it.
same?
Yeah, it's kind of the same. I mean, what is your hottest piece, or what is that? That's what how I would say it is. What is your hot piece? What spit something? Spit poet, spit. That's that.
Hey,
That's what they always tell me. Spit poet, spit,
hey, well
and
spit
then you go into your thing.
well spit us out of here then.
But God, He never promised me an easy life. To be the best, the big homie had to pay the price. The glory road, the lonely road, trials and tribulations, fearing only failure, got my strength and salvation. The strength of my life. The word ain't nothing nice. I've been left for dead, been to hell and back twice. He pulled me out the fire, helped me deal with all the pain. I raised my hand and said, thank you, life has never been the same. I praise your holy name. I pray my way through all the pain. Though you slay me, I'm still beasting in your name. If it had not been for the Lord on my side, I wouldn't be here. I almost committed suicide. Never said I was a preacher, only that I love Jesus. I got a different praise. The congregation speechless. I'm the Oklahoma miracle. Every breath's a gift. I'm walking in my purpose, making all the haters sick. I've been shaking and evading, shucking and jiving. I'm ready to start living, sick and tired of surviving. Lord, forgive me for my sins. I know I sin again. I praise you in advance for giving me another chance. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine bright. Started in the minor leagues, now Birdie's top flight. Now we on deck, swinging for the fences, winning by miles instead of losing by inches. See, I'm David with the sling. I'm Samson with the strength. I got a reason to praise. I've been through a little bit. I come a long way. God is my witness. He told me to speak my dreams into existence. So I started with persistence. I poured on the scripture. I sprinkled on the talent. Now it's time to eat dinner. It's time to go claim it. It's time to go get it. I wanted so bad because I wasn't born with it. I'm strong because the word said I'm strong. I can now face a storm because I suffered so long. I took so many losses, fell flat on my face. God would just pick me up and put me in a secret place. Now I'm coming for my mansions because God built a champion. I'm still standing, leaning out on my understanding. Thank you for my victory. Thank you for my setbacks. Thank you for my obstacles. And thank you for my comeback. I get better by the letter because you told me to finish. So I'm going to keep shining till the day my light diminish. I choose you. Byrd the
Yeah.
Overcomer.
We out.
Ooh, hey, who's that peeping
Hey,
in your window? Wow, we just cooling now.
We out.
bye.
Peace.